Kay is passionate about tourism and everything to do with the ocean. So Coast XP, a brand new adventure boat experience in Newcastle, makes perfect sense for him. He hopes his position as founder and managing director of the organisation will help him make a meaningful contribution to the destination image of Newcastle and the Hunter. Dom's interest in the marine environment has led him to working in some of Australia's most scenic coastal locations, including Heron Island, North Stradbroke Island, Coffs Harbour, Lord Howe Island, Port Stephens, Sydney, and now Newcastle, where he calls home. Welcome, Dom. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
To begin, could you tell us a little bit about your career path and what led you to where you are now?
Yeah, so essentially I have a background as a scuba diving instructor and a commercial skipper of commercial vessels. And that's sort of taken me everywhere from the Great Barrier Reef right down along the coast, east coast of Australia, right down to Sydney Harbour, and sort of lots of different places in between. So there've been places like Lord Howe Island, North Stradbroke Island, Coffs Harbour, Port Stephens, and like I said, Sydney and Heron Island as well. I absolutely love working on the water, and I love working with people. So, some of those experiences have made up, through diving or driving boats, has made up what I'm doing now and has led me to starting my own business.
So what motivates and drives you?
So there's many things that motivate and drive me, but in particular, working with people, and I worked that out a number of years ago now, that I love working with new and interesting people every single day. I don't like being too far removed from the work that I'm doing. So in starting Coast XP, it allowed me to work with new and interesting people every single day. And so I meet people from lots of different backgrounds, whether they be visitors or locals. And I'm able to understand sort of what brings them to Newcastle, or why they love living in Newcastle. And I get to share the city, the great city that we have with them through Coast XP. And so essentially working directly with people allows me to maintain my goals. So I like being able to meet the people that I'm doing the work for daily. I have worked in different jobs where I never actually get to meet the end person that I'm doing the work for, and I felt like there was an empty space or something missing in those scenarios where I haven't been able to meet the people that I'm working for. But Coast XP is a great way of meeting new people, and that's why I really enjoy it.
Dom, what's been the biggest learning curve in your career?
Well, I don't know where to start. There's been a lot of big learning curves throughout my career, the short-lived career that has been. So I'd like to say to people, wait till you get to my age, because that's when life starts catching up with you. But no, so the biggest learning curve has to be starting my own business, and that's challenging for anyone that started their own business. And each business comes along, with its different set of challenges. For me, it's an outdoor activity, and immerse people in the outdoors, and that comes with its own inherent challenges. And so that mostly being the weather. So we've got things to contend with like rain, swell, wind, fog even. So dealing with those sorts of things is quite tricky, especially if people are on sort of short time frames. So dealing with people being able to, explain, what the weather patterns are doing, and how, that obviously plays a big role in what I do in running tours along the Newcastle and Lake Macquarie coastline. But so far we've had a fantastic, whale watching season since I've started in June, and that was just fantastic. Everyone loves to see whales up close. And I suppose, going now into summer, those challenges, will be different. Weather is obviously still one of them, but it's a little bit more consistent going into summer. So, when it's going to rain, when it's going to, be windy and all that sort of thing. Winters, fluctuates up and down like a yo-yo. So just trying to balance those sorts of things, along with, all the other challenges that come along with starting a business.
Where would you like to be in 10 years' time?
That's a big question, and I think it's a difficult question to answer. But in particular, I like to think that I'd be doing a similar type of work that I'm doing now. It's a long-term commitment for me starting my own business, and I really enjoy it. So I'd like to see myself still running tours along the Newcastle and Lake Macquarie coastline. I'd like them to be different each year and new and interesting in different ways. But I have a big grand goal of being able to contribute to the local visitor economy in what way I can, and that is through promoting the region that we live in. And so for me, I'd like to be able to capture great content, whether it be photos and videos of the area, and share that with people through running tours as well. So if people can possibly catch a photo or video online of what I do and the style of work, they can then come out on a tour and see what it's like themselves. Once they're on board, it's normally pretty easy for them to see why I love doing what I do. But in 10 years' time, I'd like to continue to what I'm doing, hopefully build on what I've started, because we're really just at the beginning, only 5 months in.
And to finish today, have you had any significant hunter-based mentors during your career that inspire you?
Yeah, so I've been lucky enough to have a lot of local mentors, and not just within Newcastle, but within the entire region, or some even outside of the region in particular that I'd like to speak to about the challenges and things that I'm facing on a daily or weekly or monthly basis. But I've had mentors that have helped me, from whether it be tourism related mentors or marketing or legal or accounting. There's been plenty of people that I've met along the way as well through my university studies, the University of Newcastle, that have really helped in sort of bringing the business that I've dreamt about and worked hard for, to life. And all of those people, there's been a huge number of them that have made up that journey along the way.
Excellent. Sounds like you've got a lot of people to help you. Thanks so much for your time today.
Thanks very much.